Have you ever wondered what kind of activities Hansel and Gretel would get up to after they grew up? Well, then you should definitely go and watch the movie Hansel and Gretel Witch Hunters.
Don't! Just don't.
Or you can play a game that my group made, which we called Save Hansel.
I won't stop until I have Hansel and all of your heads. Now drown in your own blood. Rot in hell. Scream louder. Let them hear you in hell. I'm coming for every last one of you. You hear me? Okay, you idiots!
Pathetic.
Alright, I hope you enjoyed the trailer that I whipped up for my game. Honestly, I am so proud of my team for having made this game. It took a lot out of us. I think the game at the end of the day has plenty of potential, but as a game demo, I'm super happy with it. So how the heck did we even make the game? Well, with a lot of time, effort and stress for pushing out game builds, for testing, and a whole bunch of bumping our head into walls because we couldn't figure some stuff out, and oh gosh. But yeah, let's go ahead and talk about the team. So some of you guys already know me and know that I'm the one who focuses a lot more on the programming side of things, and I was trying to steer the ship a bit. Then there is Kalebe. He did all of the audio in the game, which included organizing recording sessions with the voice actors and sourcing audio and all that kind of stuff. Alright, and then we're moving on to the level design, and then the UI and all of its functionality, and even a little bit of technical art, and a few assets here and there, the game design document, and even the itch page, and more, all done by Calvin. Lastly, there's Willem. His primary focus was the art, like as in the 3D art, the animation, and some more of the technical art. And as a group, we called ourselves Perfectly Random. Is this the start of something cool? I don't know. Subscribe and stick around for a couple of years and, you know, maybe you'll find out. At this point, we were in our second year at Open Window, and now we're all moving on towards our third year. So in the beginning, our lecturers went ahead and put us in groups and then gave us the following roles: programmer, sound designer, game designer, and artist. We all really liked our roles and did our best to do the idea justice. So how did we come about with the idea? Well, it's another one where we all had to go and pitch our own ideas. Everyone had to pitch 3 ideas of their own, and then as a group we would decide on 3 of those ideas and pitch those to the lecturers and the class. The first game idea was Arena Mortis, a top-down horde-based hack and slash set in a cursed Roman Colosseum where you battle waves of undead enemies as a gladiator trapped in an endless fight for survival and glory. Honestly, I thought this idea was pretty solid. I think I would have had a really fun time working on this game as well. Then the second idea was Blood Money, which I have discussed before in this video. Also, a game I would love to work on one day, or at least something very similar. Finally, we've got the game we actually went with, which is Save Hansel. You play as Gretel, a world-renowned witch huntress. When her brother is kidnapped by a coven of witches, unleash hell in a blood-soaked rampage. Armed to the teeth, burn through their ranks to save him. When I thought up this idea, I was really hoping to go the route of a Doom-like experience, but just reskinned and themed where Gretel was the main character. But anyway, let me move on before I lose any more of my audience. And once we had the idea, it was time to get to work. I tried my best to simply just believe in and trust my teammates, that knowing that they will do good work, and then I focused on simply doing the best possible job that I could. We arranged regular meetings, about 3 times per week, where we would discuss things like our plans, what we want to do, what we think we should do, what we have done, and more. These meetings were absolutely crucial in making sure that our game stays on track, or at least as close as possible to being on track, because I can tell you now it was not on track. Now, for the semester, our uni required that we participate in 2 game jams over the course of the semester. And we had the bright idea of doing both of these game jams within the first 2 weeks of the semester. So because of that, we had very little time to actually whip something up for our first deliverable, where we actually had our first internal playtest. We decided we at least needed to test out the very basics of the game, so we worked really hard to quickly get a few things working in the game. We took a character controller that Willem had previously made for one of his uni projects, and then an enemy spawner and an enemy controller that I had made. Calvin did some blockouts for the map he and I came up with while we were in one of our meetings. The playtest was kind of interesting since we had very little to really test. At least we knew we didn't really need to touch the character controller much, since people were quite happy with that. But at least because of that, we knew what our next focus needed to be for the next playtests. We all knew that we had plenty to do, so we jumped into it and collaborated a ton, and spent plenty of time together on Discord. Kalebe organized recording sessions with voice actors where I got to direct, which felt surreal and honestly was some of the most fun I've had as a student here at Open Window. The voice actors were absolutely awesome to work with, it was a breeze, and Kalebe was super professional the entire time and took great care of those voice actors, I must say. Willem spent a ton of time creating high quality assets that fit the game's theming and style. He also spent time putting some animations together for the revolver, which in the end came out stunning. He kitted us out with a nice animation rig as well for the main character so that there's more of a feel to the player's movements when moving the camera around. He even fit in a basic mesh and animation for the enemy so that we can start testing that out, which was pretty cool. Calvin spent a ton of time placing the assets that Willem had made, more blockouts in the different sections, actually made more progress with the swamp area. Yeah, he made refinements to the UI. Honestly, every step of the way, the UI made improvements upon improvements, and you can definitely tell he learned a lot throughout this year. Super awesome to have been able to watch this progress being made in real time. And I spent tons of time just coding and coding, neglecting my other modules like you wouldn't believe. I was basically going all in on my major, game design. The major things that I worked on before the second playtest was getting at least 2 of the objectives working. The timed objective there in the cave and the wave survival objective there in the swamp. The first mini-boss, which is in the swamp, a melee, and then of course that melee giving you health when you kill enemies. Getting multiple consecutive headshots makes you regain ammo for the revolver, swapping weapons and implementing the use of the blunderbuss. Everything we added into the game between the first playtest to the second internal playtest was super important to test so that we can actually finalize everything. So we spent a good amount of time deciding what we needed to be in the test, and having that focus really helped. I must say we definitely got a lot more valuable feedback from this playtest.
We have 3 recordings so far. I think one of the main issues people are having right now is game's actually a little too hard.
Please.
Don't worry.
Oh, no, don't
worry.
Don't go in there, don't go in there, don't go in there. You're gonna get stuck. You're gonna get. No. Please don't go in there. Players were quite surprised about what we've added to the game, especially the voice lines.
Kill those wretched hags. I swear it.
Damn, you guys even got voice acting. Let's go. Okay.
Seeing players actually play through the game now that we had a lot more in the game really helped us understand what needed fixing, what needs to be made more clear to the player, what needs to be more tutorialized, and where we can improve certain aspects of the game to make it a bit more of an enjoyable and readable experience. From there, it was just everyone trying to address any of the issues before the final playtest that we had on campus for everyone to come in and try so that we can get as much feedback as possible for the final stretch. And man, I really wish I recorded a bunch of what happened that day because holy moly, there were so many issues on our game. I was noting down things left, right, and center. People were breaking the game, people somehow getting onto the top of the mountain where they definitely should not be able to reach. It was chaos, but man, I'm glad that we had the playtest because those were all these game-breaking bugs and other small bugs that completely made it past our own playtesting. I worked super hard fixing as many of these bugs as I could while trying to at least put in some of the new stuff into the game, like for example the last objective, the final boss, checkpoint functionality, a scaling difficulty system, and well, there's more. All the while Calvin had to continue placing more of the assets and take some of those assets and set them up using a trim sheet that Willem made, refine the level layout, more UI improvements, some VFX for shooting, creating houses and castles, walls and towers, all using the kit bash stuff Willem had made, and so much more. Kalebe was editing audio, fixing up stuff on Fmod, redoing some stuff because of the potential issues that we were having, getting the voice actors in for some re-recordings because of something that went wrong with some of the previous recordings, sourcing more audio, and figuring out the ambient stuff. Man, and Willem was working overtime, pushing out model after model, refining animations, pumping out some seriously nice post-processing, which honestly really brought the game to life along with the lighting, some really cool enemy death effects, and more. Guys, like if I were to try and explain what each of these legends did, I'd spend well over an hour here, but just know it was a lot. During this time though, there were many real massive performance issues that we had to take care of. For some reason, whenever I would look in the general direction of where a bunch of enemies are on the other side of the map, they'd play their footstep sounds, and I had no idea why that was happening. So I made sure that only play footsteps when within a certain distance of the player. Another issue was for some reason after updating to a newer version of Unity, the game would literally consume your RAM like it was an endless hungering void. Every single newer version of Unity that we tried had the exact same issue. But at least the one that we were working on from the start didn't have the issue. It was so weird. No matter what I tried, I just could not fix it. But on the bright side, I spent a lot of time optimizing the code and fixing a bunch of apparently unrelated bugs, So at least the game ran a little bit smoother. One thing that was really heart-wrenching for me though was like, I thought I fixed the bug when I changed how many virtual channels we have been using for Fmod. It definitely fixed an issue we were having, where some audio would steal the audio channels of other audio channels and then you would never play that sound again. But alas, the RAM and disk consumption issue was still there. So we just stuck with the Unity version we had because that was the only way forward. Otherwise people would play for 5 minutes or something and then boom, the game would just crash. Then came the day before we had to hand in, and man, it was chaos. We were trying our best to finish fixing all the bugs, finish a few last additions, make sure everything runs smoothly, implement occlusion cunning as well, which honestly really saved us in the end, I won't lie. And then the last day was even more of that, as well as Calvin sorting out the itch page. And keep in mind, we still had to go and make videos, like our own individual videos where we would go over basically every single thing that we did for the game, like as an individual, our own contributions. And the deadline, it was fast approaching. So I did what I thought I absolutely had to do, and I asked the lecturers if the entire class can get an extension to midnight. And like the generous gods they are, they allowed it. Everyone felt so much relief after that, and we were actually able to finish everything and submit before midnight. And man, we were so happy with what we did. I was super excited to have people play the game, so I quickly made a trailer for the game, posted it for the submission, and looked forward to seeing what people thought. Even right now, I'm so keen to just have people play the games I make, so if you'd like to play this game and any of the other games I've made, please click on the itch link in the description. You can play all of them for free. And hey, if you like this video, please go ahead and like and subscribe so that you can stay up to date with what I do. I've also got something extremely exciting in store for next year. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Also, I am so close to 1,000 subscribers and I would really like to hit it before the end of the year. So please go ahead and subscribe. Anyway guys, please let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below, even if it is criticism. After all, the only way to work towards improvement is to actually know where you're falling short. Thank you so much for watching, especially if you reached this point. Thank you, I appreciate it. And thank you, Willem, Calvin, Kalebe, for being such awesome teammates. It was awesome working with you guys, and I really hope to do so much more with you guys in the future. Thank you. Cheers everyone, I hope to see you guys in the next one. Bye.